Hoy vamos a hablar acerca del imperfecto de subjuntivo, the past subjunctive. So let's go ahead and talk about it. This is really important to know if you want to impress your friends in Spanish. There we go. So, el imperfecto de subjuntivo is the past subjunctive. And these are the verb conjugations for it. So you can go ahead and pause it and write those down. That's what I would do. The reason why you use it is almost the same as the reason why you use the present subjunctive. Emotion, imposition of will, judgment, hypothetical, things that haven't happened yet, ojalá, and if-then statements. The only difference is ojalá and if-then statements, when used in the past subjunctive, are contrary to reality. So let's go ahead and go through some examples. ¿No estás preocupada? ¿De qué? ¿De que no llegue? If you wanted to say that in the past tense, you could say, ¿No estabas preocupada? ¿De qué? ¿De que no llegara? And so she's worried that her date's not going to come. She asked, well, aren't you worried about it? She says, about what? That he's not coming? De que no llegue? De que no llegara? If it's in the past tense, you use the past subjunctive. ¿Y qué quieres que haga? And what do you want me to do? Que deje que Ángel lleve a Clarita y que se le declare en la primera canción? Or if it were in the past tense, ¿qué querías que hiciera? One thing that I should probably point out is that the past subjunctive is formed by the third person plural of the preterite of the verb. So the verb is hacer, the third person plural preterite is hicieron, and then you have to make sure that it matches whatever the subject is. So hicieron would be hiciera, hicieras, hiciera, hiciéramos, hicierais, hicieran. So if it's tú, que tú hicieras, que tú hicieras. Or if it's ella, then que ella hiciera, hiciera. Or if it's nosotros, que hiciéramos, hiciéramos. See how that works? ¿Y qué querías que yo hiciera? A lot of times in Spanish, we leave out the subject pronoun, but I could put a yo there to make it more clear. But if you're watching two people conversate back and forth, it's really obvious that the person is talking. In this case, she's talking about herself. Que dejara que Ángel llevara a Clarita y que se le declarara en la primera canción. That's the episode from La Secu where they're going to the dance. And yeah, I recommend watching that episode. You'll learn some Spanish. So, es dudoso que vayan a llegar. So these are judgment examples. Judgment is like when you make a judgment call. It's your opinion. And there's a lot of different ways that you could classify subjunctive use. Judgment is one of the common categories of subjunctive use, judgment, but it could also be called opinion or something like that. So es dudoso, it's doubtful, that's like a judgment call. Or es difícil, it's difficult that, well, that's a judgment call. Or it's probable that, it's a judgment call. So es dudoso que vayan, or if it's in the past tense, que fueran. Es difícil que tengamos, or if it's in the past tense, that's the verb tener. Third person plural would be tuvieron. And since it's nosotros, it's tuviéramos. Era difícil que tuviéramos que trabajar. It was difficult that we had to work. Es probable que se hayan ido. Era probable que hubieran ido. And so this is a past participle. Ido is the past participle of ir, to go. Or in other words, gone. They had gone. It was probable that they had gone, or it is probable that they have gone. If it's in the past tense, it was probable that they had gone. Que se hubieran ido. So some hypothetical examples are like, If I want to listen to a song that pleases me or one that I like, as we would say in English, that would be a hypothetical song. If it were in the past tense, you wouldn't say una canción que me guste, you would say una canción que me gustara. Quería escuchar una canción que me gustara. Same thing with a hypothetical camiseta. Camiseta, what does that mean? A shirt. Necesito una camiseta que me quede bien. I need a shirt that fits me well. Or if it were in the past tense, talking about the past, necesitaba. I needed a shirt that fit me well. Necesitaba una camiseta que me quedara bien. Necesitamos un intérprete que hable español. Necesitábamos un intérprete que hablara español. We needed an interpreter that spoke Spanish. All right, things that haven't happened yet. These are with dependent clauses. You have to have two clauses where one depends on the other one. One has to be done first in order for the other one, or there's two clauses that are being done at different times. For example, I want to finish my homework before they arrive. So you want to finish it before something else happens, and that part is going to be subjunctive in Spanish. Quiero terminar mis tareas antes de que lleguen. Well, if it's in the past, if you're talking about how you wanted to finish your homework before they arrived, then you could say it this way. Quería terminar mis tareas antes de que llegaran. Llegaran. Llegar, llegaran. Ellos llegaron. Ellos antes de que llegaran. Juan quiere ir de vacaciones cuando termine el semestre. So he's in the middle of a semester, and he's saying, when the semester ends, I want to go on vacation. And so if we were talking about that in the past, we could say, Juan quería ir de vacaciones cuando terminara el semestre. So before the semester ended, in parentheses, Juan wanted to go on vacation when the semester ended. It makes it clear that the semester hasn't ended yet. And that's why you have to use terminara, the subjunctive. So some ojalá examples. These are also contrary to reality. You say, ojalá que tuviéramos mucho oro. Oro means gold. Hopefully we had, and it doesn't really mean hopefully. It's like saying, oh, that we had a bunch of gold. Ojalá que tuviéramos. It gives the impression that you actually don't have a bunch of gold. Ojalá que tuviéramos mucho oro. And then in another secu example, no te conozco y ojalá nunca te hubiera conocido. But it's contrary to reality. No te conozco, I don't know you. Y ojalá, and oh that, nunca, never would I have known you. But she does know him. So she's yelling at him because she got tricked into thinking that he didn't want to go to the dance with her after he already invited her. She thinks that he invited Jenny when he didn't. It was all just a trick. And now she's mad. Ojalá que nunca te hubiera conocido. That is the past subjunctive. So these if-then statements, these are contrary to reality if-then statements, not to be confused with indicative if-then statements. I'll have to make a different video on those. Si tuviéramos mucho dinero, if we had a lot of money, and that's the contrary to reality part. Because it's the past subjunctive, it means that you don't actually have a lot of money, because it's saying if we had, we know that it's the nosotros form because it says tuviéramos. If we had a lot of money, compraríamos una casa muy grande. So you have to use the conditional for the what it is that you would do. But for the if part of the statement, for the if clause, you use si. And that's the clause that's going to get the tuviéramos, or the past subjunctive. Just like this one. Si estudiaras, sacarías buenas notas. If you studied, you would get good grades. Ganarías si practicaras. You would win if you practiced. Notice that the si practicaras is the second clause in this case. It doesn't matter which way you put it. I could have easily written it the other way. Si practicaras, ganarías. It means the same thing. What you have to remember is that wherever the si is, that's the clause that has to have the past subjunctive. Si practicaras, ganarías. Ganarías si practicaras. Jugaría afuera si hiciera buen tiempo. Si hiciera buen tiempo, jugaría afuera. So you can say it both ways. I would play outside if it were nice weather. All right, so that is everything. Please like and subscribe if this video is helpful to you. Also, we can do some exercises on the whiteboard. Put some up here. I'm not going to do them all just for the sake of time, as much as I would love to, because I love to do these exercises. But what I've done here is I've taken from each category of subjunctive to write out these different exercise or these different questions, these different problems. So like in the model, it says Julieta quería que Samuel la recogiera. And so that would be an imposition of will because Julieta wanted Samuel to do something, in this case, to pick her up. Recoger means to pick her up. La recogiera, la is referring to Julieta, or Julieta, as you would say in Spanish. Julieta quería que Samuel la recogiera. Julieta wanted Samuel to pick her up. Luisa necesitaba que yo pagar al conductor. So if Luisa needed that I pay the driver, el conductor, that has to be subjunctive, right? And so I would say que yo pagara, que yo pagara. I'd get rid of these little forward slashes and I'd put a period at the end. All right, number 2, Jenny quería que ella y su amiga ir solas al baile. Well, that's an imposition of will because it's what she wanted. Yo quería que tú quedarse en casa. This one's reflexive. Maybe I'll leave these two for you guys to do. I'm curious to see if anybody will know what to do with this reflexive verb for number 3, quedarse en casa. I wanted you guys to stay at home. All right. Yo estaba feliz de que mis papás, it's going to be hubieran llegado, because we have to follow the model. That's how you would say it with the past subjunctive. I've also noticed that most native speakers, at least from a lot of South American and Central American countries, as well as Mexico, tend to just use the present subjunctive of haber when it's followed by a past participle. And so you could also say here for number 4, yo estaba feliz de que mis papás, well, actually, you could, instead of saying yo estaba feliz, you could say, actually, never mind. This is, because it's estaba, it would have to be hubieran, so never mind. Anyway, but what I was going to say is a lot of times you can get around that by saying like, yo estoy feliz de que hayan llegado. It'd be the present subjunctive, but that's because it's in the present. So you use the present for the same reason that you use the past. All right, number 5. Jenny estaba triste que Ángel no, what's it going to be? Llegar? I'll let you guys figure that one out. Dani sentía mucho que les haber engañado con mentiras. Danny felt sad that they had tricked them with lies, or that she had tricked them with lies. Maybe I should put ella to make sure that it's clear that it's Danny. Ella, Danny. Danny felt bad that she tricked them. Les engañado. It's implied a ellos. Con mentiras. With lies. La profesora se enojó mucho, so that's emotion, de que José no hacer la tarea. What do you guys think it's going to be? Is it going to be de que no hiciera? Yeah, it'll be de que no hiciera. Hiciera la tarea. La profesora se enojó mucho de que José no hiciera la tarea. She was mad that he didn't do his homework. It's showing emotion. Era probable, so this is a judgment one. Era probable que los alumnos de español sacar muy buenas notas. I'll let you figure that one out. No era posible que ella ganar. What's it going to be? Todos dudaban que yo llegara a ser profesor. O digo, doctor. Yo voy a hacer este. Llegara. Llegara. Todos dudaban que yo llegara a ser doctor. Todos dudaban. Everybody doubted that I would become a doctor. Elena necesitaba un vestido que no tener hombros. This one is a hypothetical because Elena needed a dress, un vestido, that didn't have shoulders. And so it could hypothetically be any dress at this point as long as it doesn't have hombros. So what do you have to do with tener? Le dije que vendría cuando llegar. Cuando llegar el verano. I told him I would come when summer arrived. Well, summer hadn't arrived yet, and so this would be past subjunctive. Ojalá haber paz en el mundo. Ojalá haber paz en el mundo. This is going to be contrary to reality with ojalá. Ojalá haber paz en el mundo. What do you guys think it's going to be? Should I say it? Hubiera. Hubiera. Ojalá hubiera paz en el mundo. Oh, that there were peace on earth. Ojalá hubiera paz en el mundo. And I'll let you guys do number 14 as well. This one's going to be harder because it has two verbs. Oh, yeah. Si el dióxido de carbono ser tan malo, no haría que las plantas crecer tanto, ¿no? Well, we'll let you guys figure that one out. Hopefully you learned something. And if you didn't, please go back and watch my other videos. And maybe those ones will be easier. I also plan on going back and redoing some of the videos and making them a little bit easier, maybe shorter. So if you have any questions, put them down below, and I'll go ahead and copy and paste that homework assignment in the questions so you guys can go ahead and do it in the comment section. Muchas gracias. Hasta luego.